file for bankruptcy, and that for now it remains among his least likely courses of action. Wolf.
Brian Todd reporting for us. Brian, thank you very much. CNN's Caitlin Collins is joining us now with more on her really excellent reporting on the panic setting in Trump world. Also with us, CNN legal analyst Jennifer Rogers. Caitlin, you described Trump as being in, quote, panic mode right now, just ahead of the Monday deadline. Tell us about that.
Well, it's a predicament that Trump has not faced, where he is facing such a massive bond that he owes, one that he and his team believe is unfairly too high in order to move ahead with this appeal that he very much wants to do. But they are in a position right now where they have not found anyone to underwrite that bond and to back it up. They contacted all of those insurance giants that Brian was noting there. Trump had been counting on one in particular to come through. That is Chubb. That is the one that underwrote the bond that he had to post to about $90 million in the E. Jean Carroll case not too long ago. That was something that came through at the 11th hour, I should note. And Trump had kind of been under this belief that that was going to come through for this one as well. But the problem here is that really the collateral that they had to offer was real estate. And that is not something they say in this what they filed to the Attorney General, what to the court here, that they believe that many of these companies wanted to take them up on. And so really the question is right now, what are they going to do? And that is what we're hearing about, this sense of panic in Trump's world, is because it is a real predicament where he is only days away from a potential financial crisis here and having to confront that. And yet they still do not have a solution here. Now, I will note this is Donald Trump. The E. Jean Carroll thing, he came out at the 11th hour with a solution there. People in his orbit still believe that that could be an option here. But in the sense of what they're doing, Wolf, they're reaching out to wealthy supporters to see if that's an option here. They are looking at properties that they could sell and which ones they could sell quickly. That is something that is proving to be more complicated than they initially believed. And so it's still really an open question of what is going to happen over the next several days before that Monday deadline.
Yeah, good point. Jennifer, the New York Attorney General's office, as you know, pushed back on Trump's claim that it's impossible